What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad live choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Beansy, Dino, all the greats. Plus, you get access to our nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we have projected for each individual prop, plus where the best lines are at. And most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? Well, it's my Discord where I'm throwing in all my picks each and every day. Go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. Throwing in the chat right now. We got baseball. We got basketball. We got bets. Let's get right into it. Starting off with some of the ones I made last night. The lines may have moved already a decent amount. Bobby Miller, I know, has moved a ton. I think it's plus one or minus 170 on the over. Check out Austin Gomber. Gomber. Sorry. I was thinking about Gumby the other day. Gomber. Yep, moved to 14.5. Not worth it. Something to note on outs lines, the big lines are same as football, like 3 and 7, huge lines in football. Obviously, touchdown, field goal. Most games are going to end with a win or loss of 3 to 7. Or baseball with outs, same kind of thing. Like you're going at full innings. People sometimes get pulled mid innings, but more than likely, the majority of the time, they're going to get pulled before or after an inning. So 14.5 and 15.5, huge difference. 17.5 and 18.5, huge difference. You don't really see it too often, but 20.5 and 21.5, huge difference. So Gomber being 14.5, that's not really a bet anymore. Medina, this one I don't think has really moved. No, it has. It's at 16.5, but no, that one's not there. Canning, this one should be moderately the same. This is one of my favorite bets, though. If it's still, you can actually get better odds. Oh, and it's slightly worse. No, it's minus 136. I'd still take it at minus 136. Canning has only hit the over at this, I think, once so far this season. Gets a really tough strikeout matchup going up against Boston. Canning always struggled against lefties, striking them out in pretty much his entire career. It's been worse, I think, since he's come back from injury. His slider is his main out pitch. That's a pitch that's much better at getting out righties than lefties. 4.5, a bit too high of a line here. I really like the under. Let's see some turd bombs here. Jose Altuve to hit home run plus 850. Altuve, you can get this at Bet 365. Way better of a hitter than that would suggest. I know he's only played 3 games since being back. Against a match versus Ray. Ray giving up solid home run numbers, solid power numbers, 200 ISO, 46% hard contact rate, not a ton of fly balls to righties. But still, over the course of his career, I think 1.4 home runs per 9, given up to righties, decent hitters ballpark. 850 is a silly line. And then 2 in the Baltimore game here, we have Mountcastle. So you actually see this pretty often going up against Cole. Cole, I know he hasn't given up a ton of home runs so far this season, but he's a guy that has always in the past given up a lot of home runs. I'm going to pull up his Fangraphs page right now because I see this on a very consistent basis. Cole, one of the best pitchers in the league. Like, no arguing that. Absolutely know that. I'm not going to dispute that. But one thing he does always do is give up home runs. 1.48 last season, led the league. 1.19, better. 1.73, 1.2, 0.85, 1.37. Over the course of his career, giving up well above average home runs. This year, his home run to fly ball variance has been a little off, sitting at 7.4%. Guy gives up a lot of hard contact. When you throw that hard, guy's averaging 97 miles an hour. And even his slider, it's 88. His changeup is 90. His cutter, everything he throws is hard. So when you have that much velocity coming at you, you make good contact, goes in the opposite direction, quite a bit better. So again, he gives up a lot of home runs. People don't seem to realize, or books have not seemed to realize that, just because these guys have a awful matchup overall for production does not necessarily mean they have an awful matchup overall for power. So Rutzman, for instance, plus 1075. This guy is very good. He's especially better from the left side of the plate. He's a switch hitter. That's something that can change power drastically from one side of the plate to the other. Well, looking at his career numbers, let's look it up here. 18 home runs and 491 plate appearances from the left side of the plate. 2 and 198 on the right side of the plate. Like solid home run hitter from the left side of the plate, bad home run hitter from the right side of the plate. So when you look at his numbers here, 216 ISO, low K rate, not great, not terrible fly ball numbers, not great, not terrible hard contact numbers, but the home runs have been there, plus 1075 versus a guy that he's not going to strike out a ton against, and guy that gives a lot of power. I'm rolling with it. And then Mountcastle, another guy who's been hitting home runs pretty well this season. I think he's sitting at 10 so far this year. Solid power bat. No, his numbers versus righties aren't great, but the hard contact is there. The fly balls are there. So I am rolling with it. So the turkey bombs. Before we get to some basketball and some more baseball bets, don't forget to check out our sponsor, Shady Rays. If you haven't heard of Shady Rays, independent sunglass company, fantastic product, decent pricing, great protection. You lose it, you break it, they'll give you a new pair. No questions asked. That's simple. Don't like them? Guess what? You can return them free or exchange them for a new pair within 30 days. And they've already donated over 20 million meals to fight hunger with Feeding America. So if you want to buy some exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the new year. Go to shadyrays.com and use code RotoGrinders for 50% off of 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. They're shades that rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. Now let's get some more. Couple of basketball picks. Game 4 here, potential elimination game. Absolutely incredible what Miami's doing. Tatum over 28.5 points, minus 117 at Caesars. That line has moved. I know that. I still like it at 29.5 points at minus 110. Gosh, this line keeps moving. Minus 120. It's a little tougher there. I don't know if I'd end up hitting that, but it's still not bad. Very small ROI, but I might stay away. And then Kevin Love, under 11.5 points. Dude has not been playing a ton recently. Played only 5 minutes last game. Granted, that was mostly because of blowout. But 15, 16 minutes prior to games, has only hit the over in 1 out of 3 games this series. Prior series, he still only played 16 minutes the last 2 games of the series. Minutes haven't been there. Production is there, but the volume, the production isn't. He's getting boards, occasionally getting some assists, points. Like, he's only shot the ball 3, 3, and 4 times so far this series. He's a little bit over the hill, not shooting the ball great. Shot like 29% in the last series. I'm rolling with the under. Rich Hill over 4.5 strikeouts. Dude's been fantastic this season. Minus 120 at Betfred. Let's see what the next best line is. Minus 115 over at MGM. Yeah, it's in minus 140 everywhere else. So go hit it at MGM. Rich Hill, I'm probably going to write this up right afterwards. Rich Hill, been very, very good so far this season. Started off, I think, tough for the first few starts, but outside of that, been very good. Matchup versus Pittsburgh. Not versus Pittsburgh, versus Texas. We also have a bet for Uvalde, I think so. But yeah, 20% K rate since the beginning of last season. This season, something similar, 21.3%. Decent K rate matchup going up against Texas. Again, he's been very good. I'm going to keep rolling with it. Graham Ashcraft under 4.5 strikeouts. This is all right, minus 200. I got minus 145. Great. Yeah. If you want to hit it minus 200, honestly, not the worst thing in the world. Has not hit the over in like 7 straight starts, 6 straight starts. Does not have a great matchup here. Going up against St. Louis. St. Louis, very good team. I'm rolling with the under. Kyle Bradish going up against New York, under 5.5 strikeouts, minus 145 at Betfred. I think we can get some lines in other places. Bradish, minus 160. Still don't mind it at that. Bradish, solid overall pitcher. Not great, not terrible. Better versus righties, if I remember correctly, striking them out, but gives them a lot more power to righties. Not an easy strikeout lineup, 21% below average, but a lot of walks here. We got Judge, you got Rizzo, you got LeMahieu, you got Calhoun, you got all guys that walk at a pretty decent clip. I'm rolling with the under. Spencer Strider plus 110 under 8.5 strikeouts. Dude's been crushing this number, hit it at a massive clip this season. But yeah, you can get plus 110 at PointsBet 2 or plus 105. I still like it at DK. But tough matchup going up against the Dodgers. Dodgers, one of the more patient, one of the lower strikeout rate teams in the league. Very solid lineup here, pretty much 1 through 8. Only big strikeout bat is Outman. Strider, again, been incredible, but 8.5 is too high of a number. Last up, JP France, under 15.5 outs recorded. France, if you get minus 120 over at MGM2, so same line. JP France, decent matchup versus Milwaukee, but doesn't have the longest leash, 72, 94, 84 pitches. And the first in his 3 starts so far. Don't think he ends up getting there today. That's it. That's the show. Be back again tomorrow. We're out of here. Later, kids.